I've called two special guests today. Sumukhi Suresh.
Sorry, 30% of women are orgasming?
You're surprised about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 3%.
Alongside Neha Dhupia.
That's the most formal introduction that I've got from you.
I know, because they paid me.
Boys and partners don't know that foreplay. You know, even if it's foreplay, they're very like, ek, do, chal. Yeah, it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah.
Never thought of sex act as a Christopher Nolan movie, but okay.
Yeah, it confuses you.
Sometimes you don't understand.
You don't understand.
Can women be just as kinky as men?
I want to just say women can be just as anything as men. Just as successful, just as powerful, whatever she does. It's her choice.
%70%. That's an alarming number because Durex's global sex survey shows nearly 70% of Indian women don't orgasm during sex. And there's a term for it, the orgasm gap. Studies show the reason behind the gap is not biological. It's the silence around female pleasure and the societal suppression women face around it. And to help me understand this gap better, I've called two special guests today. Sumukhi Suresh, a stand-up comic, writer and actor, alongside the very charming and the very talented actor Neha Dhupia. Welcome to another episode of the Durex Podcast.
Hi, Abhay.
Hi, how are you?
That's the most formal introduction that I've got from you. Also the nicest.
I know, because they paid me.
I'd like to hear the version if they hadn't paid you, what it would be.
You would know that.
Hi, Neha, bol na.
Something like
Sorry,
that.
30% of women are orgasming?
You're surprised about that?
Yeah, it's like gonna go for a 3%.
I'm happy to have two ladies with me because I think we can focus more on the women's experience and what do they deal with, especially growing up in our society. I think most of our episodes have been focused upon people, their backgrounds, their gender, their sexuality, and we've sort of tried to go with a microscope to understand how can we make this world a better place for every gender, every sexuality. Why do you think female pleasure, female desire is such a hush-hush or taboo subject?
You know, Abhay, as far as I'm concerned, like when you talk about something like this, if you say female pleasure or if you say hush-hush subject, I know everyone's watching. So it's not like I want to talk about it, I want to scream from rooftops about it. But if there is an issue, if there's a conversation that needs to be had, that will be had. I understand why it's hush-hush, but it's got a lot to do with the male gaze. It's got a lot to do with how women are conditioned and almost made to believe that they don't have a voice when it comes to talking about pleasure or judged. You know, nobody wants to be judged or nobody wants like that extra baggage in their lives in any case.
But are you saying that you also somewhere feel like you are shy about talking about it because of this sort of environment and upbringing?
No, I feel it's necessary to talk about it for as long as it's solving a problem. And to normalize the fact that intercourse also goes beyond pleasure, to say that there are women who are troubled in the process of something that is and should be pleasure. Of course, there is. Up to that point, I am comfortable. I almost feel like talking about it all the time is almost insensitive. Like, no, we don't.
I mean, no one's.
Yeah, and it's also too much
to do
information. So, I mean, hush-hush, yes.
Is it more taboo for women to speak
100%.
about it?
I also feel like it's easy that if you don't speak about the female desire, because then whatever the partner does or the man does seems like that's what it is. And I'm not even saying it's like a universal approach. I think it's also got to do with if I know what my desires are and if they're not satisfied, then I have to have that conversation.
And that's just too
and
much?
I'm too much of a doormat to have that conversation. Then I have to get my mother involved, you know. If my mom is actually a better person to speak to people.
So you could ask your mom to speak to your boyfriend?
Weird, right? You talk to my mom, he's like, really? No, not like that. Not like that. So I think it's just easier to not list it out.
That's interesting. So you're saying that you would suppress expression just because you wouldn't want to make your man uncomfortable. Let's flip what you're saying. And say that, hold on, but if you don't speak to your man about it, then he will never know. Right? And that you're robbing him of the opportunity to be a better partner, better lover, better friend, all of those things. Right?
It then boils down to like a relationship of equals, right? And that's another box.
Which it should be, right?
Yeah, it
Shouldn't
should
we be equals? And if he's not shy to express what he desires and likes, and if he's your man, then why can't you?
I'm sure a lot of people would benefit verbalizing that. But I think it comes down to what you're saying that, you know, what if discussing it too much becomes really insensitive? What if he thinks that, then yahi baat karni hai tujhe? Tujhe kuch aur baat hi nahi karni hai.
No, there's time and place for things. And sex isn't just about the act.
Yeah.
It's everything, your relationship, the things you do,
Yeah.
how you spend time together, how you grow together. And that adds to your lovemaking, so to speak. A lot of the stuff that we have as pointers is stuff that you have brought up and as you, because they're talking about a woman who speaks openly about sexuality is frowned upon. Schools and parents, they can talk about periods, but do they give their daughter sex education? As a girl growing up and then becoming a woman, how has it been for you all?
You said that, you're educated about periods, etc., but not sex education.
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't educated about my period as well. Also, I got it very late. So it was already a huge issue where you're like,
So you must have thought, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah, I was happy. And then I got yelled at for like, why are you happy you're not getting it? I'm like, because I don't have to deal with it.
Okay, so you knew you would get a period at some other, you had no idea.
Oh, yeah, I'm like,
so you
it's
knew
not,
you would get
I'm like,
it.
it'll come, it's fine.
Okay.
And my mom was like, no, you're 16, it has to come at 11. I'm like, 11, that's crazy.
You had at 16?
Yeah, it was much later. I'm glad because I at least was ready to sort of,
Yeah.
my brain was at least active enough
Yeah.
to know it. But I didn't know what it was. I knew what the stigma around this was. Like I
Yeah.
was told for 3 days, you can't touch the gas stove, all the taboos around it.
What are the taboos around it?
There are tons. There are tons.
Please
Yeah,
tell me, because I don't know.
I've heard you can't eat pickle.
Yeah, you can't eat achar. Yeah, you can't eat
Achar.
achar. And
That might be okay, maybe because it's a bleeding or
But there's
health reasons.
also-
But touching the gas
But
stove?
maybe, but we don't know, right? Most taboos also, or most stereotypes, taboos are, I think some of them are laced with logic, but no one knows the logic. I think the reality of it would have been something else. It's just whatever's getting passed on as information.
Yeah.
It's not like my mother woke up and she wanted to be anti-periods. It's just like, that's what my mom told. I'm telling you, don't irritate me.
Yeah.
So the education about period actually came to me much later. When I had to be like, oh, I'm not getting it in the right way. I have to
Yeah.
speak to specialists about it, take care of it. And,
Yeah.
it's affecting so much.
Yeah.
And so sex education was, I think, much
That's
later.
much later,
yeah,
yeah.
I think from the time I understood, and which I think is a lot of cases as well, like most women are learning it on the go.
Yeah.
It's just that timeline you can't discuss. Like you can't say
Yeah.
that, hey, I learned it with experience. Then they're like, oh, you have experience? Mm. That's also a reel. Oh, that'll get, you can cut it, guys. I love being trolled.
So with all this cultural shame and guilt, have you guys started to unravel it, unlearn it? Is there a process to sort of do that? Are you going through that process?
I am going through that process because I
Yeah.
think the person who I started as a teenager, because I grew up in a very different circumstance. It was very conservative. I'm from a smaller city as compared to, like I'm from Nagpur. So there, this conversation doesn't make sense, right?
No.
Like your day-to-day routine and you need to hit your milestones are a
Yeah.
bigger conversation than, hey, what about pleasure? I'll be like, pleasure? Pehle kamaa le. It's very that vibe. So I think it's at some point, I think when I moved to Bangalore or Bombay, one of them is when I'm like, Sumukhi, start being someone else because this seems too
You're not
claustrophobic.
Nagpur anymore.
Yeah, and it's too claustrophobic. It doesn't make sense for the life I have chosen. So it's almost like I tried to be someone else and then I understood, oh, okay, no, this is an easier path. But I'm a very work in progress. Like if you ask me outside, I'm like, why did I speak so much?
We all
This
are.
is the work. Yeah.
And that never ends.
Yeah.
Hopefully never ends if you want to keep growing. You know what I mean? And in fact, taking off from point of being judged, I mean, when you started, I remember the day, and we worked early in your career
Yeah.
as well, and you were pretty out there, you were uninhibited, you wore your sexuality on your sleeve. Did you feel judged? Because you were probably the handful of girls who was bold enough to do that.
You know, to be honest, when I was doing it,
Yeah.
I was actually doing it because I thought that there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly,
Like
just
I
be
just
you,
thought it was
right?
cinema.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
even without social media and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I started getting judged for those kind of
Yeah.
films. So I did one or two of them, and then
Yeah.
I had to change paths. And the hard part was to make people believe in me again, just because I'm playing certain kind of roles, or if I've done a movie called Julie back in the day, doesn't mean I can't do a mainstream comedy film. I felt like I was walking on eggshells later. I was on a reality show, and I remember that there was this guy who came on the show, and he said that I went and hit my girlfriend because she broke up with me, and then when I went back, I got to know that she was dating 5 guys. And I remember saying it's her choice,
Yeah.
like whatever she does. It's been, I think, almost 8 years. Whatever I say, or if I go wrong anywhere, everywhere, like all the trolls are like, it's her choice, it's his choice, it's her choice, it's your choice, it's your choice. Because nobody understood the context. But I feel like as a woman,
Yeah.
the context that I was trying to set is that it's a woman's choice.
Yeah.
She's allowed to have choices. And
Yeah.
that is the ultimate definition of freedom. like my learning happened, and then I had to unlearn to understand that it's not always okay to express, because your version of your expression is very different from people's understanding of
Also,
it.
like you were then just slotted and like put in a box, as you said. We did Ek Chalis Ki Last Local together, and she was always a comic. And yeah, no one
Singh is
saw
so
that.
fine.
No one would allow you
but
to
it
do
took
that.
me time, and then I feel like in the middle I felt like a dip, and now I'm in my 40s. I have 2 kids, and my unlearning or learning, or however you want to look at it, comes from prioritizing myself first. So for instance, let me use very simple words. So if you are comfortable in your skin when you're in your workplace, you will be the same when you're with your partner.
Exactly.
So, you have to be this person, you have to understand who you are to actually learn or unlearn from all the experience that you've had.
But it's all about being comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
That's the only time
But
you
it
feel
takes so
liberated.
long.
Yeah,
and
it's
so much
such
work.
an easy thing to say, but God,
It takes so much work. And like for me, as an actor, when I gave birth, I put on like 25 kilos. So I wasn't responsible for being comfortable in my skin. The person who was responsible was my husband, because he always made me feel beautiful. Like he was just like, every time I dressed up, he was just like, you look great, you look great. Yeah. And in my head, I was like, I'm jobless. I don't have work. When I step out, I get trolled. My clothes don't fit me. And also, I've come from this background of winning beauty pageants, and these things are important. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But now, it's a whole like journey, and now finally in my 40s, I feel like none of that matters. Like today or now is just, I feel like my sexiest, and I want to use this word like on the show because I really do.
Yeah, you can own it.
Yeah.
Look, a man who sleeps around is a stud, but a woman who sleeps around is a slut. It's okay for a man to do it, but it's not okay for a woman to do it. Do you think
it's absolutely
that still exists?
Yeah,
right?
like
absolutely.
I'm a 90s kid. Like we would go to nightclubs, and then suddenly we would see the same. And then you know how you go and get entry into the same club every Wednesday night because it's ladies' night. I was that kid.
Yeah.
And then you would see this guy and be like, oh, he's with this girl. Oh, he's with this girl. He's with this girl. Wow.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened with a girl.
With a girl.
This guy, last week she was with this other guy. Oh, this guy. Oh,
she must be easy.
Yeah, so the judgment. And I'm saying even now, I'm probably not going to nightclubs on a ladies' night, but I'm hanging around like married couples or couples who are separated. Now, if the separated husband comes back with like 3 different women, it's fine. He's exploring, he's figuring it out. He must be lonely, all of that. But if a woman does that, oh, that was quick. How did she do that? She moved on. Does she not love her children? Like, it happens.
Yeah.
I'm in that circle now. So it's an analogy I'm drawing.
When you say that, it's even prevalent in people who are educated, affluent. It's not just
actually more, right?
I think that
because they have more time to like do the slut stud kind of
because the wording is now more sophisticated. You can language it in superb, language that is not crass.
So how would you say?
It's very like she's having a good time. It's okay. Let her. It's so passive aggressive and it's so
but it's
like
the same
patronizing. But then I'm like, so you calling her a slut, darling? Don't say slut. That's not done. That's a bad word. I'm like, no. You said it. You actually said it. I worded it.
Condescension, you're saying.
Yeah, you have the words now to explain what you are thinking, but not calling it the word that's not allowed.
What's female for stud?
I don't even know if there's a word for female for stud.
I don't
What's
think
the
there
stud
is.
equivalent
Boss
for a
lady?
woman?
I don't know. Boss lady. I get called that all the time.
But boss lady has nothing to do with sex. No?
Yeah,
Boss
but
lady is
that's
like
what I mean. But stud has
Stud is
nothing.
particularly to do with sex.
No, but then
And
what's
performance.
male for slut?
There isn't. I don't know.
That's what I mean.
There might
right?
be, but
it's
you obviously don't know it.
So I proved
let us know in comments.
But I proved my point, right? There is no comparison. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Yeah.
You're not even playing the same game. You're not giving the same titles. It's just so unfair.
This is a question. Have any of you ever bought a condom?
I bought it the first time.
Did you also go, wo chocolate dena or wo ye dena or ye dena or
the thing is, I didn't know the stigma around it. I was just like, ye de do. And then later my friends were like, are you crazy? The boy is supposed to buy the condom. I'm like, but I should also be safe, na? She's like, no, but if you have it, he'll just think that, oh, you're ready all the time. I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't understand.
Why the fuck not?
So I think that was my first,
Yeah, so I mean, unfortunately, it puts the woman in the weaker position and not the stronger one. one.
Honestly, that's why I picked it up. Whereas I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. What if he doesn't have it? Oh man, I don't want to go through that. So I was like, oh, let's pick up. And I didn't know what they were. I'm like, just give, yeah, you're the pharmacist. You know everything, no give. Which one is better, you give? And he was also very like, babe, what's happening? Do you think this is dairy milk, a different flavor? It's not.
Well, we do have different
You're
flavors
funny.
on the wall,
Exactly.
which we'll get to.
You talk so funny.
Yeah, but that was my first ever. Oh, so scary.
Yeah. Is there like a belief you feel like intercourse is the primary source of female pleasure?
No, I feel like people need to believe, and I feel like men need to believe, and some of them do understand, but more of them need to understand that it's the little things as well, right? It's foreplay. It's attention, the attraction. There's all of that. It's the build up.
Do you think women understand that better than men?
It's a yes and no.
It's a yes and no. I also feel like it's what your relationship with that person is. Now, if this is somebody who you've met on a dating app, I would think that it works differently. I didn't
Depends
mean to
which
look
app.
at you.
She never used the app, so she doesn't know.
I don't know what you think. It is based on the app.
It's based on the app you're using.
Oh, it's based on the app.
Maybe just
Is
a
that
hookup
right?
app.
Oh.
There'd be looking for marriage, relationship.
Okay.
Just a friendship. It depends on the app.
Yeah, so there you go. So I think it's definitely beyond just the act.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's just a great conversation, which is a part of foreplay.
Yeah.
And then it can move on to many different things.
Yeah.
But it also depends on where you are in your relationship. I feel like nowadays people don't even have time for each other, right?
Yeah.
It's got a lot to do with how much
Like, go,
time
go,
you
go.
have to
Yeah,
give.
that's true.
I mean, you can't like get into the act and just be like on and then get into the act and get out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I keep looking at you, but I'm
Please,
interacting.
I agree. I agree. Please keep
But
it
I'm
going.
sure her insights are very different from mine.
No,
like I feel like
no,
I'm
it's
learning from
absolutely
you.
you're right. You know, because foreplay is such a wide landscape, and she's so right. Like the build-up is so important, the intimacy is so important because
Yeah.
most of it is also. It's actually the final. It's like showing the final scene of a movie. So it's pretty much you got to build up to that particular moment.
Yeah.
And also, still a lot of boys and partners don't know that foreplay. You know, even if it's foreplay, they're very like, ek, do, chal. It's very like, I'm like, "Paki bhi hai actually. The whole concept of erogenous zones or like what is, and not to just sort of put the responsibility on men as well. A lot of men also find it on their own after some point. Like we also don't know. I mean, I learned it much later. I paid attention to it. I'm like, oh, ye to mujhe pata nahi tha. This was not part of my syllabus.
Yeah.
So it's really, you're right. They look at it as a very small scope, but it's such
it's such a huge
it's a Christopher
potential.
Nolan
Like, there's
movie.
so many.
Yeah, and it's
Never thought of
different.
sex act as a Christopher Nolan movie, but okay.
Yeah, it confuses you.
Sometimes you don't understand.
Then you're into
Bale
your
comes.
40s.
And then sometimes you need to go back to it. Yeah. And
the second time it's better. That's what it is.
and the more you talk about it, the more you understand
works.
it.
Here's
Yeah.
one question that I'm interested in. Can women enjoy sex even without an orgasm?
I think it's, I think it could be without also because I'm speaking in very personal spaces that if the foreplay is exciting, I'm already, I'm like, oh, great, this is amazing because the attention to detail is so validating.
I think that would probably end up leading to orgasm.
So I'm like, yeah, exactly. So mera ho hi gaya hoga tab tak. But the fact that there was this attention to detail and there was a wholesomeness in the situation can already be like, thanks, sir. Then later, whatever you want. You can figure it is. Mine is, I don't know if it's a common concept because I also come with a lot of big girl guilt. Like I think I started with, I don't think I deserve it. It went to, I don't think that's how it works. And now it goes, please find out how it works. That's the step that has been. So that's why I'm very happy with my unlearning, where it's had a lot of baggage and it moved to, okay, rather than making it a task or something that has to give you some sort of an end goal, just go with the flow, which is when it's most pleasurable, I hear.
Yeah. So for a lot of men, being good in bed is tied to their sense of masculinity, their self-worth. Do women experience something similar? Do women who feel empowered in the bedroom feel more confident in other aspects of their life?
I think it's also the other way around, right?
Yeah.
I also feel like if we had to reverse this, And that's what we started off with.
Yeah.
And we're coming back to the same point
Yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah.
it's who you are. In like, you know, are you the one kind of taking instructions? Are you not using your voice? Are you trying to just disarm situations? Are you non-confrontational?
Yeah.
All of that then comes back
Yeah.
into the bedroom. And I feel like on the outside, it could be okay because you're dealing with too many people. But on the inside, you're dealing with your partner. And
I 300% agree, because as also the world outside helps you understand who you are, sort of get you comfortable. At least I think work helps you sort of.
And if you can be comfortable in your skin and be authentic, that'll
Yes.
obviously translate
Yeah.
to the way you perform with
Yeah.
your partner. But I feel like sometimes it could be the other way around. Like you might be shy, but if you have a great physical intimacy with your partner who encourages you and loves you, that might lead also to you being more confident out in the world. I don't think there's a black and
yes,
white.
no, yeah, I mean, yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
think that, but the norm is what you've said. It's
Yeah.
like first you find your space in your world, right? And then let that transfer to confidence in a relationship.
Because if intimacy ends up giving you the power that you wish to have, then that's the
that
golden
right?
ticket, right? Like, oh, that's.
Because my fear is, are you looking for validation first outside in the world and then expect to, because who you are in the workplace would not be the person who's at home,
Exactly.
right? How do most women explore what they like, what turns them on, what doesn't turn them on?
I talked to my best friend.
Okay.
She is my go-to person. In fact, she was the one who first said, Sumukhi, do you masturbate? I'm like, how dare you talk to me like that? And she was like, please shut up and explore.
That's a great friend to have.
Yeah, oh, she's so sex positive. In fact,
Yeah.
I realized I'm not. Also,
Yeah.
she quickly catches the red flags that I have or someone else has.
Yeah.
So it's such a great person to interact with. Best
Person to
friend.
have.
Oh,
Seriously,
God.
yeah.
But I also feel that female friendships are so necessary in every aspect of your life. They're so comforting. You know, so I did a film called Lust Stories. And one of the stories over there was how Kiara's character was somebody who wasn't kind of getting as much pleasure in bed. Vicky's character was just this guy who would have premature ejaculation, and, you know, sex for him was only about him and had nothing to do with the wife. And my part was of Rekha, this teacher who's single, who's older. She kind of senses that something's not right. Then how she eases her into conversation, into confession, and saying that it's okay. Like, you know, sometimes if you can't get enough pleasure with your husband, it doesn't always mean you're going to another man.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting story, but that's
That
also about
friendship was,
female
yeah.
friendships and relationships. And imagine if that character didn't have Rekha in her life, she would
Who
have
would she turn
probably
to?
kind of had to live with that.
Also, you have so much empathy for people who are awkward or uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah, but-
like the whole time you were very like, it's fine if you're uncomfortable. It's not wrong. So that's always easy to communicate with, right?
Hoping that this podcast will just open people's minds so that they can communicate better with each other
Yeah.
and not feel left out or alone or guilty or shameful.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people live in, is guilt, shame and fear.
That's true.
You're still very young.
Thanks. Finally, someone's recognizing it.
You're now entered the 40s. So the question is, how does sex and pleasure change as you grow older?
I feel like life takes over and everything else takes priority. But this is something that you need to make time for. Now, the equivalent of that is how you would kind of get dressed in your 20s, make time for it, step out, go out. And I think it's such a huge or important part, like physical intimacy in life, in relationships, in keeping your confidence high, in making you feel strong, beautiful, attended to, everything. Your validation, to a very large part, can come from that.
I think the two words that have, I think, gradually come into my personal life, I won't even say just sex life, is communication and respect, which is something that's gradually increased. It's been more comfortable when there is a very simple requirement of, I need respect and I need the conversation to be two ways.
Yeah.
It's such a two-way street.
It's a two-way street, yeah. And
considering I'm in my 30s and unmarried, the family pressures, You know, the family pressure actually got high, and then afterwards, I think my mother was done. Gone for the Melbourne Comedy Festival, great shows, etc. etc. My mother called me in the middle, and she said, "Okay, Sumukhi, I wanted to have a chat with you for 2 seconds." Yeah, she said, "Okay, so I've decided you marry anyone you want." I said, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, he can be anyone." And I'm on a video call. She's like, "Who's that boy behind?" I was like, "No, that's not how we're doing it." And she said it in Tamil so fast. She's like, "Yaar avana kalyanam madiko." Yara, Pinnadi. I was like, "No, Mama, we can't."
Pinnadi was Pinnadi.
Right
behind. Pinadi is back. Yeah.
And I was like, "How are you looking for boys even in this construct?" That's nice. That's very cute of you to
hilarious.
find your agency within this as well. And also, she's the first person who's given me the best advice, which was sex related, but she never spoke about it because I was with someone much older. And my mother looked at me and she just like, "Come, I want to talk to you." And she said, "See, you have a lot of energy." I said, "Yeah. It'll just increase." I said, "Okay." His won't. I was like, "What?" And I was stunned. I was like, "What?" Okay. I have to go back.
So, from a woman's point of view, wrapping it all up, how can you end good sex and make it great sex? From a woman's point of view.
It's the basic stuff, you know, starting with self-love, awareness, conversations, foreplay, and you know, there's a huge amount of investment in your partner. And when all else fails or when nothing works out, I feel reaching out.
Yeah.
Firstly and most
Yeah.
importantly, reaching out to your partner, reaching out to friends, or not too many. Don't make that a plural because, you know,
that's
like
a
I
gossip.
said, for me, like, you know, the hush-hush is easier. Or like having that one friend, like you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, absolutely.
You
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Or like, you know, and apart from that, you know, there are things, there's a wall full of things, and then there are people and there are experts, you know, it's stepwise. You know, if there's a problem, there are many solutions. And then, of course, referring to this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want it to be from good to great, tune into the Durex Podcast.
Oh, what a great end. Once
We've
again.
got our next host.
Yeah.
I will hand over the ground.
No, I'm not taking it away from you. You're fantastic.
I'm happy. It's fine. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, guys, I'll take it.
Yeah, what about for you?
I think for me, the good sex to great sex journey could be by having the respect and communication angle to it, because I think all of that you've said, like how you said about love stories, also one of the reasons it was such a good movie is because both angles were spoken about, where she was not happy and he just didn't know. So, you know, the moment there's that, these two words sort of start playing a better role, I think the fun starts then.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, there's also very large, like speaking of the film, it was addressed so well and there's such a large demographic of it that's still where you use code words for it. And, you know, like, I think in that film it was called like ice cream, like they were licking the ice cream. You know, so there is, and it's true. And it's true to the kind of society that we live in. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with code words. There's nothing wrong with not being able to talk about it openly to everybody, but talk about it openly to the person that you need to
Sometimes
talk
you have
to.
access to objects, information, and community.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be public. It can stay contained within your community, but as long as you have access. So at the end of every episode, we play a game. For you guys, we have this game called the MAQs, which is male asked questions about women.
Oh, I thought the game was guess the full form of MAQ.
No.
And then, okay.
It's MAQ,
Tell us.
male asked questions. This is what the most asked questions that men have off of women online. Here are the questions that we have, okay? Do women like talking dirty in bed?
You know.
Yeah, but you can't do bad acting. You know.
Do women care?
Even that much is enough. Do women care is enough. Yes.
How long the sex lasts?
I would like to answer it in comedy language.
Please.
As much as a tight 5 minutes of comedy is funny, it's always better when it's a 1 hour special.
You can't match that. That's
Yeah,
you have your
can't.
answer.
But I just want to say that 1 hour special cannot have any dips.
Oh.
You got applause breaks all the time.
Do women prefer being on top or at the bottom?
You know, I was thinking more like Chanel, Gucci.
Versus, yes,
I mean, like,
yes.
do women prefer expensive handbags or like beach holidays?
Both.
Both, correct. Okay.
Yeah, both, correct.
Yeah. Do women like men who moan during sex?
Strong yes.
Okay.
Please don't hate me. But yes. There are a lot of them are running on mute. It's crazy.
On mute.
I'm like, hello friend, please.
Do women actually care about size?
At the risk of sounding vulgar.
It's how you
Too late.
use it.
Yes.
Can women get pregnant on their period?
They can, because ovulation also works very differently for women.
That's interesting that men would Google that.
Yeah. Oh, so that they can. Oh, they could. My answer is yes. That's why there are products, okay?
Can women orgasm without sex?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, most women end up orgasming without sex. Because a lot of women also end up experiencing their first orgasm when they masturbate. You know?
Yeah. Can women be just as kinky as men? I mean, come on.
I want to just say women can be just as anything as men. Just as everything as men.
Kinky is just a small aspect of your...
Yeah.
Just remember, women are storytellers. So.
Thank you very much
Thank you so
for this.
much.
It was really good of you guys to come and be so open and honest and vulnerable. On this note, actually, we have a wall behind us, a product by Durex. We've got devices, lubes, condoms, games. Chalo, let's go check it out. So here we have the pleasure wall. A massage is good.
Yeah, thank you.
Any lube?
You know what? I'll take this one. You know, late life lesson that lubes end up making things pleasurable. Also, the flavor is a great talking point. Yeah.
Which is what?
All puns intended.
And here with the Elevate, it's just basically supplements. And of course, condoms of different
Didn't we
flavors.
have a question like that? And then, it's addressed because it's different for men
yeah.
and different for women.
Yeah.
So, that's a great thing that they've done.
And
Okay.
the playthings is basically games.
Okay.
Card games, board games, some handcuffs, eye masks.
Eye mask. Well, the way I'm feeling, I'm just sleepy.
I mean, yeah.
I'll go with this.
I would take eye mask for
Yeah,
sleep.
and then a game is great.
Because
game is
personally,
great.
I'm a big fan of mind games, but I think I'll go for this game.
Which
Yeah,
one?
but I don't think you need games to play mind games, knowing the kind of person you
Yeah,
are.
so that they think I'm not mind games and they're like, oh, she plays real
Hey,
games.
let's play a game. Is your
Yeah. It's a
actual mind game?
Take this as a
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh,
Why not?
How did you know that's my nickname?
And I wish you a really steamy weekend.
Okay.
Why not?
Make sure your hands are off.
Yes.
And after all that, you must go on a love vacation. There you
These
go.
are all yours. You
What
just
a
have to
great
take
day.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great haul. All right, perfect. Today's episode, I feel, was probably the most edgiest one. It's so hard to talk about pleasure and desire from a woman's perspective.
Yeah. And when you say this, at no point am I feeling like collars up. I'm still feeling that, we shouldn't be judged and people shouldn't think that we're coming from a place where we want to talk about it or wear our sexuality on our sleeve and talk about it. We just want to
Can
be
they
able
be
to...
not judged when they
Yeah.
talk about it? That's all.
Yeah.
Just like a man is not judged.
That's so beautiful the way you said it. Thanks, Abhay. And how great are you?
I know, right?
Abhay, you're great too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Abhay, I will let you know.
Learn from you.
Oh, Abhay.
And that's it for today, guys. You see, the orgasm gap goes beyond just pleasure or great sex. It contributes to broader societal issues like unequal gender roles, skewed ideas of consent, misinformation, and poor representation of the female voice. But the fact that it doesn't stem from our biology gives me hope, because it means we can bridge the gap by viewing sex, pleasure, and intimacy from a gender-equal lens. And as always, if you liked the episode, like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. You can also stream this episode on the Durex Podcast Spotify channel and follow us on Instagram for more content. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.